Hey, good morning. Patricia Murphy here. It's Saturday. This is Seattle Now. Today we're bringing you the best from the KUOW Newsroom and KNKX. First, as Seattleites reel from the city's worst mass shooting in years, North Seattle voters are poised to pick a new city council member in a race that will likely be defined by gun violence. KUOW's Scott Greenstone reports.
Lake City Memorial Triangle is a little grass strip by a bus stop. Some Adirondack chairs, bee blossom, and blanket flowers. A humble marble plinth stands close by, engraved with a dedication to all victims of gun violence.
This park is someplace I come when these shootings happen.
Nilu Jenks and her neighbors created the park with a city grant after a 2019 shooting right nearby. A man named Tad Michael Norman drunkenly killed 2 people.
He grabbed someone from the car and killed them, stole their car, and then crashed basically in front of my house and killed someone there too.
Jenks is an electoral reform advocate and one of 4 candidates running for Seattle City Council in this district, the northern top of the city, which includes Lake City and Aurora Ave. In the North Precinct and in the rest of Seattle, shootings and shots fired are down by more than 20% over the last year, according to SPD stats. But a number of high-profile incidents are defining this race. Days before a mass shooting at Seattle Center, 3 women were shot in a car on Aurora Avenue. In May, 2 more shootouts on Aurora riddled vehicles with bullets and punctured an infant's bedroom wall. Hundreds of angry residents and city leaders protested. Another candidate for this seat, Julie Kang, attended that protest. Kang is an education director at Seattle University who has lived in Seattle for 30 years. A month after the protest, Kang and I got lunch at a teriyaki spot on the same block one of the shootings happened.
I did the bento.
Oh, you did the bento?
Yeah.
Kang wants the city to hire more police. She would push Mayor Katie Wilson on surveillance. The mayor has gone back and forth about whether to use and expand a system of police cameras. There's currently a cascade of 16 police cameras stretching down Aurora. Kang wants them to stay on.
So some people say, oh, we've tried it, it doesn't work. And it tends to target black and brown people. Well, I've walked 50 blocks, spoke with business owners, and most of them are black and brown, people of color like me, and they want the cameras on. They want the enforcement.
Kang and Jenks, who we met earlier in Lake City, have both raised over $100,000. Kang is endorsed by the Seattle Times and Jenks by The Stranger. They're considered the favorites to win the August primary and face off in November. Jenks disagrees with Kang on cameras. She worries about feds or bad actors in other states getting the footage, and promising to hire more cops to her is futile.
I ran 3 years ago when we were promised 500 police officers would be.
She didn't make it past the primary in 2023, but says we have to look at other answers.
We haven't hired 200 police officers, right? So people still offering the same solution as somebody who's had multiple shootings that lives in the Lake City area. I'm like, what are we talking about?
Jenks wants to make it so the care department, unarmed crisis responders, can show up without police escorts, freeing up police to respond faster to other calls. There are other candidates in this race. Silas James has raised almost $50,000. He's a disability advocate and UW research assistant with a way different approach to crime.
I think the police are part of it, but I think public safety really hinges on poverty reduction and making sure that people can imagine and articulate a future that they can see for themselves.
James wants to launch a, quote, guaranteed basic income program for Seattle's poorest residents, paid for by raising the utility rates on the highest consumers, hotels, car washes, and data centers. Another candidate, Dimitri Georgakopoulos, has only raised about $2,000, most of it his own money, the rest from a woman who appears to be his wife. North Seattle voters are already submitting ballots. They have until August 4th to vote in the primary. Scott Greenstone, KUOW News.
And finally, tribal families from around the Northwest have been traveling in traditional cedar canoes since mid-July, part of an annual canoe journey. The theme of this year's journey is healing through our waters by honoring our ancestors. The destination is the Nisqually Medicine Creek Potlatch near Olympia. KNKX environment reporter Bellamy Palethorpe got an invitation to ride along during a practice with the Nisqually canoe family. She brings us this audio postcard.
Hoikwadi, Hanford McLeod, skipper of the Squally canoe family. I've been out on these waters since the early 2000s, probably 2001 as a skipper. Today we bring out our youth canoe, some practice with one of our youth skippers here that wants to start skippering the canoe, Aaliyah Choke. So we're giving her some practice today on the, I call it in the back seat.
Solid 20, please. Go.
My name is Aaliyah Choke and I am from the Nisqually tribe. I've been wanting to skipper ever since I was a child. I've always grown up on canoe journeys, being a lead puller or being just a puller in the canoe in general.
11, 12.
A skipper is the one who is responsible for the canoe, guiding the canoe and guiding the paddlers and making sure we make it to our next destination and taking care of the canoe, making sure we have strong pullers in there and even new coming pullers and teaching them, guiding them in the right way and teaching them what I grew up learning and from elders that what they've taught me.
We're on a journey because it's not a race. It's not a war party, we're not invading anybody. To sit and just paddle, it's wonderful, wonderful. We want to make sure that we continue with the protocol that we were all taught. And the journeys has been going on since the 80s, so, it's always been even before that, if it was the fish wars to the signing of the treaties, our people traveled in these canoes to get to these spots.
I think a lot of kids like it because they get to meet new people and they get to see how our ancestors were. They didn't have cars, they didn't have all that. They had canoes, that's what they had, and that's what we traveled in is the water. So it teaches a lot of our youth that we still have culture. When you go off into school and all that, you have all that, but when you come here, you still know who you are. So they know they still are here, we're still here.
A lot of our kids don't get to experience what I call life out here on the water. And then most of the times as fishermen and as divers and as clam diggers, we're busy working and we're not doing the journey part, the feeding of your spirit. A lot of the elders used to tell me in the beginning, you need to feed your Indian. And journeys for a lot of us in this canoe today, that's what it's done for us. It's one, pulled us out of the drugs and alcohol, and two, is kind of giving us life back.
I'd say ceremonies change lives. Ceremonies and practices of our culture do change lives. Like, I go to a lot of ceremonies and I do this every year. I come and go on canoe journeys and I sing and dance all year. So it does help me. It helps my spirit. It really does. It's like a medicine. It helps us.
Our people have had to survive a lot. And today it's these canoe journeys show that, what we've been through and how we paddle and continue to paddle in this way.
I'm proud of all my ancestors. I'm proud of all my great aunties, my great uncles, my great grandparents. I'm grateful for all of them because they built this for us so we can continue to do this, so we can keep practicing our ways, so we can teach our future generations these ways.
That was 19-year-old Aaliyah Choke, a descendant of Billy Frank Jr., the famous Nisqually leader who fought for tribal treaty fishing rights, and Hanford McLeod, the lead skipper for the Nisqually canoe family. This audio postcard was produced by KNKX environment reporter Bellamy Palethorpe. The formal canoe family landings at Nisqually began on Friday, followed by 5 days of dancing, drumming, feasting, and gift-giving. The public is welcome to attend. Appreciate you listening to Seattle Now, and thanks to our generous donors for your financial support. Take a minute to rate and review the show this weekend. Our production team includes Caroline Chamberlain Gomez, Vaughn Jones, Andy Hurst, Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, and Paige Browning. Greg Kramer does our theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you soon.